raised in Corinth. He just happened to deal with most of these in Corinth. And then when we get to the issues, you find divisions on issues of leadership. Some say I'm from Paul, some say I'm from Apollos, some say I'm from Cephas or Peter. Again, perhaps what's going on here, one, either because of the spread of Christianity already, you already have Priscilla and Aquila leaving Rome to come here because of what's happened. So chances are these people, if, again, conjecture, if Peter is already in Rome or the message has already reached Rome, it's clear that by the time Paul reaches Rome, there's a vibrant church there. Okay? The letter to the Romans is the only letter Paul is sending to a church he hasn't himself created, founded. He's sending this ahead of himself, kind of a missionary who's doing fundraising, saying, I'm going to come to you, can you please welcome me? So there's a church that's already established there. So maybe you have other Christians like Priscilla and Aquila who come from Rome, establish themselves here, and then are keeping their allegiance to Peter, because tradition has it that Peter went to Rome. You also have Apollos, who eventually comes here, and because Apollos was more eloquent than Paul, people then are willing to side with him and identify with him. And part of the issue why this is so easy, that's because, as we've already learned in Turkey, the church was what? When we talk about the church in terms of structure, what was it more like?
Like just house church?
House churches. So it's not like you've got a big building and then everybody is there, but then there's a church that meets in Julia's house, there's a church that meets in Spencer's house, there's a church that meets in Halisa's house, and there are times when it appears that all of these people will come together. Paul talks about the whole assembly who meets at Gaius's house. So there are times when all of these house churches might come together and meet at somebody's house who was big enough. So if you have somebody like Erastus, who's a city treasurer, chances are Erastus will have a fancy and big enough house to accommodate the rest of the house